The Golden Knights signed veteran winger Tanner Pearson to a professional tryout agreement. Details coming to you right next, right here on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, hi again, everyone. Tony Cordasco, Chris Garlick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. You could find us wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure to subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. We are brought to you today by FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com. So, Chris, the Golden Knights have signed the forward Tanner Pearson to a PTO. We were talking about perhaps some players that could wind up here, and Pearson's name was not on our list of desirables. And to sign a PTO, of course, Pearson was with Montreal last season. He played in 54 games and scored 13 points with 5 goals. And he's played for the Habs, the LA Kings, which won the 2014 Stanley Cup championship there with him on the team, the Penguins and the Canucks as well, and 11 NHL seasons for Tanner Pearson.
We have a veteran, I was just trying to Google what it was, of the GOJHL here on our hands with Tanner Pearson. Great Ontario. I don't know what that is. Either way, though, Tanner Pearson, it's interesting. This kind of reeks of last year's Max Comtois situation here, right? Comtois, you really don't know where and how he could possibly fit in the lineup. And is there more motivation than simply looking at a Grizzly veteran with 600-plus games of NHL experience here? I think part of this is going to be to motivate Brendan Brisson, Pavel Dorofeev, Alex Holtz, and Victor Olofsson. This is now a veteran with experience. And again, I like plus minus more than most. And Tanner Pearson on bad teams was always like a -6, a -9, a -15 with the 2020-21 Canucks. But on good teams, he's a plus 14. He's a plus 11. 25 games with the Kings when they won the Cup. He's a plus 2. So, and oddly enough, in the playoffs, 12 points, 24 games in that playoff run where the Kings won the Stanley Cup. So you look at all this in a vacuum, and a concern with the Golden Knights is experience on the wing right now. If you take Brendan Brisson, Dorofeev, and Alex Holt's total games played, what's that going to be in the 160 range, 170? And you're almost talking, 3.5 times that much with Tanner Pearson. So I like it. It's a free roll for the team. They can afford him should they decide to offer him a contract. It brings a lot of experience and just someone that seems like he's going to play the game the right way.
Pearson, the first thing that struck me about this signing was I thought that you saw something with Brisson, and perhaps they're not excited about his development. Remember, weren't you talking about that? Because Pearson is a middle 6 player that could fill on the 3rd or the 4th line, and he's a left-handed shot. He could play on the left side there on line 3 or 4. What were you saying about Brisson? I mean, what was that? Yesterday?
Well, Brisson, we talked about on yesterday's show in the article from Gary Lawless, who did not mention Brendan Brisson when talking about the youth movement.
He's the insider. Yeah.
I know we're digging here, but at the Golden Knights at the softball charity events, Brendan Brisson from the Henderson Silver Knights, and he is from the Silver Knights. Like, let's not look too far into that, but they're certainly not rushing him along by any means. And this is a spot where Brendan Brisson probably throws his hands up in the air. He's like, what more do I got to do right now? He's done what seems to be everything right at the AHL level here. And again, we know Cassidy likes these kids to earn their stripes, so to speak. And, here comes Tanner Pearson. Look, I forgot the guy's name already. Here comes Tanner Pearson in a to-be-defined type of role. Something else I'm very big on is the 3rd line. It's always one of the toughest lines for any team to get consistency out of. All of a sudden, you look at a 3rd line of just throwing some names out right now of a Brett Howden, William Karlsson, Tanner Pearson. that's a good defense first third line that could possibly shut down some other teams.
They had a fourth line of Lazinski centering. Somebody did online. I didn't even know he was a factor. Kolasar and Pearson.
I think it was
Don't
Zach
know what else
Aston
he
Reese or something too on that.
Oh,
I think I know what you're talking about,
you know
but
what? I'm going to throw stuff here.
you're swatting flies over there. Tony's swatting flies, and he usually reserves that for when William Karlsson scores empty netters. So he's good. He's good. And see, that's what happens when we record at night. You're a little spicier.
We are always
I'm spicier in the
night.
morning, although I'm like all like done and stuff. Like if we should record at night, you can see my hair. I'm putting some effort into right now. Look at all this.
It's
Is good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
This is Locked On Golden Knights After Dark. That's what
Yes,
you're
After
tuned
Dark.
into right now. And my question was going to be, I had a trivia question, bro, and you just blew me up, man. What current Golden Knight was on a PTO as recently as the beginning of last season? Zach Aston Reese was with Carolina. I had
There
all
we go.
this planned. I tried to be an alleged journalist today, even. Eventually
Don't do
played
that.
in 3
You'll
games
throw
with
people
Detroit.
off. You'll throw people off. Don't do that.
Eventually played in 3 games with Detroit last season, but I think the prior season was something like 77 games with Toronto in 22-23. And so no, I had to throw that little trivia question out there. I thought I was on top of things, and you walked me right into that one.
I mean, listen, with Pearson, we're talking 644 games of NHL experience, 51 games of playoff experience. And in the playoffs, I mean, he's got some stats, right? With the King, we talked about 12 points, 24 games, 1920 Vancouver Canucks. If I'm not mistaken, that's when they played the Golden Knights in the bubble? Or was that
It was the
2020,
bubble year.
21?
It was
That
the
was the
bubble
bubble,
year.
1920. That's the bubble
20,
season. Or it was the bubble
19 and
playoffs,
20.
1920.
Yes,
So
correct.
the Canucks had 17 playoff games then? Is that right? Whatever. It doesn't matter. Well, yeah, because there was more games. It was weird, but fine. Point being, 17
Remember
playoff
the players
games,
just
4 goals, 4 assists.
The players walked over from the hotel to go over to the arena.
Sorry. We were talking about that a little
such
bit
a
earlier
weird-
today, just about all
Weird
the
deal.
COVID crap and how it's
Yeah.
just, another conversation for a podcast that has no relation to Locked On Vegas Golden Knights. But Pearson's going to be responsible.
Locked On Golden Knights After Dark. So
Yes.
goes.
Pearson, he's going to be responsible. He's going to give
the anti-Max Comtois.
I think Pearson, now 2 different situations. I mean, how was anyone going to crack that Golden Knights lineup coming out of training camp last year? There was nowhere for Comtois to go. And to be fair, Comtois was up against it before he even, like the second he signed the PTO.
The second Cassidy realized that he was even on the ice with his team.
That was just a dead situation. Like there was,
that was bad.
He couldn't fit it in the top 6, couldn't fit in the bottom 6, it just didn't work. And fine, so be it. But to be fair, if Comtois was coming in this season, there might have been an opportunity for him. And Zach Aston Reese, Jesus, is a rough night. Tanner Pearson, like I said, it's, a little more enthusiasm for someone. I mean, I don't know, Tanner Pearson or Brett Howden in a vacuum. I'd probably rather have Tanner Pearson, but that's not my decision to make. So, again, third line of Pearson, Karlsson, Brett Howden. I'm not hating it the more I swish that around. Or if Pearson winds up being the 4th line left winger, I like that, or right winger, I should say. Left winger. William Carey's old spot.
He's a left-handed shot, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, that could go either way, but Nick Waugh, Tanner Pearson, Keegan Kolasar, I don't mind that as well. I don't mind that one bit. I like that better, honestly, than my other line I just gave you.
Okay. Unsigned veteran players, again, can sign a professional tryout agreement.
I said Kevin LeBlanc. Where's Kevin LeBlanc? That was one I said too.
That's the one that we thought might wind up here. You liked him a lot, but then I vetoed it because of the Sharks connection.
That's not stopping anything starting circa Pete DeBoer, but whatever you say, bro.
Coming up next, the captain, Mark Stone, speaks about the upcoming season. We get to that when we return right here on this Locked On Golden Knights nighttime edition. We are driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't a search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, for screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates a lot quicker. And Indeed doesn't just help you hire faster. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites. And that is according to a recent Indeed survey. You need to join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of this show, Locked On Golden Knights After Dark, will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/lockedon. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now. Support our show by saying that you heard about Indeed right here on this very podcast. Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights, Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast. Did you make it?
Made it.
Swish?
Swish. Although when I'm doing my sports cards, I'm like 1 for 6 when I'm throwing packs of empty card wrappers in there. So need a little more weight apparently to the item, so it goes in the garbage.
Please make sure that you subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. And coming up on Thursday's show, the folks from Guardian Caps will be our guest here, and we'll be talking to them. If you have any questions about Guardian Caps, which I definitely am advocating for use by youth hockey players, start there and then build it up. And you know, one thing too, and we could bring this up on Thursday's show, but I was speaking to one of the assistant coaches at UNLV, asked about Guardian Caps there, and they're already trying to plan for the future in what would go over the Guardian Caps. So the cap over the caps, like we saw with the Denver
NFL
Broncos,
has sleeves. I saw
a
like
little
they have like
sleeve,
team
yeah.
branded sleeves that go
Yeah.
over too.
One of the biggest issues at UNLV, they have 5 helmets. So they're going to have to get like different sleeves for the helmets so everyone.
Oh, I see. It's like different size. I got you.
But it's coming in college football as well, where they're going to definitely allow it, and it's going to happen. And I think probably my guess would be as soon as next season. I don't know how I became the expert on Guardian Caps all of a sudden, but I am doing my research as an alleged journalist, podcaster, entertainer. Mark Stone did an interview with GoldenKnights.com. Stone said that he feels. You like how I framed that? Stone said that he feels it's at night.
It was a good interview, to be fair.
Okay, no, it was great.
He gave some good answers.
I actually read the thing. Stone said that he feels that VGK has a strong foundation still. He said people want to see VGK fail. He says the Golden Knights have a chip on their shoulder after getting knocked out of the playoffs in the opening round against Dallas. And some of the other things, just one other note here about his health. He said that he feels good right now. He said that he was having one of his better statistical years, as we had mentioned as well, until that freak spleen injury happened.
Yeah, I mean, I can go a couple ways with this here. Starting with his first answer right here, talking about the roster turnover, but also talking about all the players that they have. Lawless mentioning Eichel and Carlson and Hurdle and Waugh, and then obviously all the defensemen and stuff like that. And then Stone comes back. You need defense. You need great centermen, good goaltending. We'll see how that shakes out. But here's the key right there.
Hang on. The expression is that you build up the middle from the goaltender out. Whose expression is that?
I think that's pretty common. I think that's a pretty common statement in the NHL.
It was a Bill James reference. We were talking, comparing it to baseball statistics.
I see what you're saying. Okay, now it's on. I see where you're going with
the middle. We called it, and now it's an expression. And I don't know if that's an expression. And it doesn't typically start with the goaltender, but we did.
Okay. Yeah, I hear what you're saying now. Okay.
All right.
So where
was this on NHL.com or GoldenKnights.com?
So here's the first thing, Mark Stone. I'm not sure why people are writing us off. And I'm just going to stop right there. This this does prove that there's a lot of the players pay attention to what media is saying and things like that. And a lot of people are writing off the Golden Knights. And Gary Lawless reminded all of us that no one should be overlooking the Golden Knights yesterday. And he gave some solid reasoning. And listen, the Golden Knights do have a nice core. They're four centers. Yeah, everything is looking really good. Obviously, Mark Stone as a wing. That's five
Is
pretty strong.
Lisinski one of those centers?
What's
Lisinski?
that?
Lisinski's one of
Lazinski,
those
yes, yes,
centers?
yes. So you got four styled centers. You got a couple real good wingers. You got some question marks. On the defensive side, Alec Martinez is gone. It's unfortunate, but he's been a shadow of himself. Good on him for getting a $4 million bag with Chicago, and he gets to hang out with Bedard, and he's closer to Detroit to watch Lions games on Sundays. So good on him for taking that. But again, if the Golden Knights defense can stay healthy, then good things can happen for this team. I want to see it, obviously, but on paper, there's still a lot to like about the team, and Martin Stone's talking about that, and that's not a bad thing.
Okay, so Stone says again, not sure why people are writing us off because we've got 4 top end centers, 6 or maybe 8 deep on defense, and he also likes the goaltenders. So you have to go back to that one quote about not sure why people are writing us off. So
Exactly.
did you see that via his burner account, like online on social media?
I'm sure
No, where are
Samson
they?
often.
Where are they hearing about this? Is it from NHL network, or I'm just
Who's
curious
writing
how
off the Golden Knights? A lot of people are.
how the team now is hearing that people are writing them off for this upcoming season.
I mean, if they're watching our podcast, let's start there. I'm not writing them off as much as I am. It's going to be a tough season, and we're going to see if the team can improve. There's not a lot of ways to sugarcoat the Golden Knights off season. Yeah, there's still a lot of great talented players in the organization. There you go, Tony. But Marchessault, Chandler Stevenson, 2 real big important pieces to the top 6. Mike Amadio, the Swiss Army knife, will Carrier win healthy? He had a 20-goal scoring upside. Very rarely was healthy, but again, still important. Alec Martinez on the defense. Better to have him on the team than not have him. Maybe not at $4 million. And then obviously Logan Thompson is very important to mention. If there's besides the Marchessault, I think Logan Thompson not being in Vegas might be something that really it's already biting the team in the butt with Samsonov chirping on social media and stuff. So we'll see how that shakes out. So where I'm going with all this, who's writing off the Golden Knights? We've had some negative takes, and I stand by every take that we've had. I think this is a third place-ish team heading somewhere into February, as we talked about in yesterday's show. When the Four Nations face off, and I'm sure we're going to hit on that in a second too here. I'd love to talk about that because Stone had a lot of comments about that.
He wants to play. He wants to play, right, in the Four Nations.
He wants to play, and he said he expects to play 82 games this
82
season.
games.
I expect him to hit that 70 game level and stuff.
What did you say? 70 what?
I said 73 or 75 in a hook. I'm very bullish on Mark Stone having a healthy season, but
we'll see.
Now we're talking he wants to represent Team Canada, and I don't blame him. Like he's getting older. How many more of these chances is he going to have? I fully understand his desire to make the team. Like there's youth hockey players paying attention out here. This is important right now. You have the captain of your Golden Knights excited to still try out and make a team. That's the motivation to make a team does not end once you become a professional hockey player. That candle still burns all the way until Mark Stone was the age 34, 33, or 32, whatever, however old Mark Stone is right now. That candle still burns, and good on him. Selfishly, as someone who talks about the Golden Knights and supports them and everything, I don't want to see Mark Stone there. I don't want to see Jack Eichel there. I don't want to see Aiden Hill. I don't want to see any of the Vegas Golden Knights players in this Four Nations face-off or any other type of in-season activity, but I understand their desire to do so, and it's a concern.
Yeah, and they're also they're writing off a lot of things here with this team. But again, the only way that he would know that is by reading, hearing, listening. Right? I mean,
all the players do. They all got
and they are,
or they just
and
do
that's
it
how they're
without
going to
the
get
burners.
caught up. Yeah, that's how they'll get caught up. He also said he was excited about playing with Dorofeev and playing
Really
with
good high marks for Dorofeev. Very, very good comments about Dorofeev.
And playing along with Tomas Hertl. And he stopped short of saying that stinking chemistry word, which we're sick of already.
It might have been, and if you go and dig around the article a little bit.
I think on mine, I think that they blocked it out. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Dorofeev, I'm trying to find all of his comments about as I scroll through here, but basically talks about his shot and how he drives to the net and everything. And I mean, I'm just getting excited, like thinking about the line combinations. And this might be too much on one line, but the more I think about this, I would love to see line one, Jack Eichel, Mark Stone, Pavel Dorofeev. The more I think about
I
that,
think
I would
Stone.
love
But
to see
Stone, I
that.
think, hinted that he's going to be playing with Hurdle. I think he
I'm not
might have
locked in on
hinted.
that happening. You're giving up a
Well,
lot of speed when you do that. You're
well,
giving up
and
a lot of speed on one line.
there's also 127 combinations before they settle on one anyway. So
And you're
it'll
not.
happen.
Is that with or without the centers becoming wingers? Because that could be like 100. And if you go exponential,
I
that could
want a
take us like
line with three
264
centers.
different
I want a
combinations.
line with three centers. That's what you.
Brett Howden, William Karlsson, Nicholas. Wow, that could happen.
That could definitely happen. Didn't they? They did
Tanner
try that.
Lazinski. There you go. I don't know.
No, Lazinski. Oh my goodness! I don't know what someone's. Some of these aren't. I don't know. In any event, so yes, Mark Stone. Oh, speaking about writing off too, fans were ready to write him off because a lot of folks were chattering about. I had told you about this. Who's the next captain going to be? As if Stone wasn't coming back. Like they already, like they wrote off that he was like pretty much done.
I think you sent me a text. I think you wanted to do a
I wanted
segment
to talk about it.
on
Yeah,
who the next captain would be, and I
yeah.
said the next captain may not be in the organization right now. Eichel's or Stone's got some more time left, and when Stone's contract is up, Eichel's contract and Pietrangelo, they're all kind of in that same time there. So, Brennan
Well, because
Brisson, your
fans
next
are
captain of
talking
the Vegas Golden Knights, Tony. There you go.
He's not going to be with the team in a couple of years. Come on. Coming up
A couple
next,
minutes.
coming up on Wednesday, uh, Jack Eichel. He was ranked last year number 8 in the top 20 setters on that list, and NHL Network will be releasing this year's top 20 sometime on Wednesday afternoon. We'll talk about that when we return right here on this choppy edition of Lockdown Golden Knights. You've heard us talk about FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Well, we have something a little different for you. Now through September the 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Again, $5, you get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then, with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out of town market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel at any time. That's something new from FanDuel. They are definitely thinking outside of the box. And of course, we have more preseason football. The Raiders-Niners game is right here in Las Vegas coming up on Friday. You could bet on Major League Baseball. Of course, you could bet on the WNBA as they get more viewers. I'm sure that more folks are betting on the W. So make sure that you visit fanduel.com/lockedon to download America's #1 sportsbook. Back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights, Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick. What are you laughing about? The way my computer's shaking there. We appreciate you making us.
There's a lot of earthquakes in Vegas lately, so it could be. I don't know.
Yeah, I like when there's an earthquake in LA and people say, "I felt that. I felt that here, bro. I felt it." The people in Vegas are just crazy. Of course, don't forget Fridays, WTF, Saturdays, sometimes Chris and Chris Jr. show, and we'll have Guardian Caps. A
Keep
couple
going
of
like
guests.
this. It's going to be a 5-day-a-week show with Chris and Christian.
That's right. On Thursday, we'll have the Guardian Caps, folks. And on Wednesday, we also do want to shout out the Paseo Verde Little League team. There's just one win away from making it to the U.S. Championship game in the Little League World Series. So big game coming up on Wednesday. And I think it actually helped them when they moved them to the Mountain Division because those teams are kind of weak, I thought. Weaker than the West, but it was good. But congratulations and keep it going.
Handicapping the Little League World Series.
No. Someone posted the other day there are lines There are lines for the Little League World Series. Somebody posted numbers, actual
I just
numbers.
want to know if you follow their parents on Instagram, Tony.
I don't. No. I could tell when a player is leaving, like UNLV, a football or basketball player, because their parents unfollow me first. They unfollow me, and then the kid unfollows me later.
The kid unfollows you.
Jack, Jack Eichel was ranked as, I don't know. We'll get through this. Jack Eichel was ranked as the 8th best center in last season's NHL Network list of top 20 centers. We got that out. And coming up on Wednesday, I think it's around 3 o'clock Pacific time, they will be releasing this year's list of the top 20 centers. Any chance of Jack Eichel moving up from number 8? Does he move up? Could he drop back? So you have, I think Connor McDavid will remain number 1, McKinnon 2, Draisaitl, Austin Matthews, Sid Crosby, I think could fall back. Jack Hughes is on that list ahead of him, and Braden Point, and then Eichel. So do you think that there's a chance for Eichel to move up? He's got to win. He's got to win faceoffs, bro, for him to be moving up on that list, man.
I mean, yeah, faceoffs are important to the point of
And
it got you to
and he's got to take more shots.
it got you to curse on yesterday's show, at least borderline curse yesterday. So you were a little
Was I close?
upset about his faceoff. Yeah, you fired one early on.
Okay.
So
Sorry about that. My
it
apologies.
doesn't bother me. I don't care. All right. So listen, I mean, McDavid, no. McKinnon, no. Draisaitl, no. Austin Matthews, no. Sidney Crosby, okay, because of the age gap, but Crosby still put up 82 games last season and 94 points. So I'm not going to put Eichel above that.
Okay. All right.
Jack Hughes, Braden Points, not really. Eichel comes in at 8. I think Eichel's actually behind Barkov and Elias Pettersson, to be completely honest.
Say that.
I don't, and I'm not knocking Eichel as a player. He's done a lot
but
of great things, but I don't think Eichel is top 10 based on this list I'm looking at.
Better point production out of these players and more games. Just the durability factor.
More games, durability. You look at the complete game. Faceoffs are important. I'm sure of the 10 people on the list, I don't know offhand, so I'm not gonna. Maybe I can find out here. Go ahead. Yeah,
parking lot. Barkov is number 9. I think he moves up after his successful season with Florida, and then Elias Pettersson was number 10, and I had them both moving up past Eichel. Who knows? Crosby, does he stay up there? Hughes, potentially, Eichel could move up a little bit. Braden Point, I don't know.
That's the thing. Like we're doing a lot of ifs and stuff, and this is where you start looking at face off percentage and things like that. McKinnon's only 46%. That's right around where Eichel comes in. Austin Matthews 53. Draisaitl's 56%.
56. Yeah,
I didn't know he was even that high.
Yeah.
Just going down. Crosby 58.2. Like these are important things we're talking about. Reinhardt's lower. Braden Point 45.7. Pettersson 50%. And what do we say? Eichel was 46% or something.
Well, around 45, right? Didn't he have to move up like 5?
Eichel was 45.5. 45.5.
Yeah. Okay, 46. So he pretty much has to move up 4 percentage points to get.
I mean, Jack Hughes. Okay, Jack Hughes 37.2%.
All right, we can bump him.
Yeah, no, Hughes was the one I was kind of looking at, but also Hughes is still going up right now. Eichel is probably around the plateau of his career where Hughes might still have a little more upward mobility. But point being is, I mean, if you want to put Eichel 10 and take Jack Hughes out of the top 10 and do it that way, okay, fine. That's about the only way. I think he could
pass Braden Point, but I think Barkov and Pettersson pass Eichel. So I'm going to say he might slip to number 9.
Yeah, but Braden Point, 81 games, 90 points, 45-7 for the faceoff. So, I mean, it's basically a battle of reliability at that point. It's reliability and points.
They're going to go by points, right? And Point has
points. I think the games played, 81 games versus 67?
Yeah, well, that's okay. No brainer. Eichel will
63 games for Eichel.
Eichel still remain in the top 10. We know that, and he could be number 10. Is that what we're getting at here?
I think his ceiling is 10, but I'm going to put him at 11.
11. You don't think he's going to be a top 10 setter, huh?
11. All right. 11. Zibanejad's going to knock him out, your boy. Zibanejad will knock him off.
I saw he was like 13 or something, right? On that list.
49.3% faceoffs, 81 games, 72 points. So his point per game production is actually lower than Eichel, but again, games played. Like, I'm curious how much they're weighting that stuff, or if they're simply looking at point production on a per game basis and a percentage perspective. I don't know, but I'll put Eichel 10 and a half. That's the over under 10 and a half. I'm taking the over slightly, meaning 11
under.
But if I'm booking it, I'm probably going to go minus 115 on both sides to make sure the house.
I'm taking under. Yeah, I'll take the under. And of course, don't forget, coming up on Thursday, our guest from Guardian Caps will be with us here on this very podcast to talk about player safety, especially beginning with youth hockey. They're using those caps, the padded caps, currently in football on just about every level now. NFL allowing players to wear Guardian caps in games. 5 players from the Colts were wearing them in a game, in a preseason game. It's just going to continue to grow. And I think for the future of hockey,
I don't see a downside. I don't. And we can obviously
for all these players. Again,
know.
if the one question too we could put in the parking lot. So if the football Guardian caps weigh 11 ounces, would the hockey ones be lighter? I'm just curious.
That's a good question. It could be the same. It could be the same thing. I don't know. Make sure you write that down. I'll forget.
Okay. Parking lot. Again, don't forget Friday is WTF. Saturday, sometimes it's the Chris and Chris Jr. show. For my man, Chris Golick, I am Tony Cardasco. We appreciate you tuning in as always. And we'll see you again on Thursday right here on Locked On Golden Knights. It won't be the nighttime edition then. And please take care.